What's up, everyone? This is Dexion the Gamer, and today we're going to be testing Subnautica 2. And this game is still in early access. It is downloadable right now on Xbox Live if you have an account set up. And the game is built on Unreal Engine 5. And I know, a big sigh of relief, right? So we're going to be going over settings first and checking out some gameplay. Alright, so let's go over the settings here, and we are going to be testing this on the RTX 5090. So just to let you know, at first, if you do use this option right here to test a benchmark, it will set your settings for you. And even with the 5090, when you run it, it's going to set everything on high. It didn't do it this time, which is interesting, but that's normally what it will do. So, actually, I put everything to Epic this time. That's interesting. So, on Epic settings, we're going to get a benchmark of what the game is going to be running at. And it looks like even over here on the right side of the screen, it says minimum spec PCs, low 1080p at 30. Recommended specs, 1440p at 60, 4K at 30. Okay, wow. So, they actually recommend medium 4K at 30 FPS for a recommended spec PC, and I don't know what the recommended specs are on this game, but anyways, we're gonna go see what Epic settings look like first. Alright, so we just enter the world now, and we're getting about 66 frames per second. So 66, 67, and this is on the Epic preset. Now there is no DLSS frame generation in this game. So if you do have a low frame rate, you are going to have to figure it out with upscaling, using different upscaling modes, and trying different methods that way. So I guess I need to get some air here. And so everything does look really crispy, I will say that. But typically if you use ultra settings, you know, what you're doing essentially is trying to max out your GPU, and at that level you really do get a lot of diminishing returns when it comes to what are these guys doing. Oh, they just tried to kill me. Wow. Well, anyways, what you will run into is diminishing returns when it comes to graphic settings, because ultra quality is usually just super fine details that you can't even really notice, and you'll need to optimize your settings first. So that's what we're going to be trying out here. So let's take a look at this still shot here just to get kind of a base frame rate. So we're running at about 64, 65 frames per second. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into settings here, and just actually I'm using DLSS quality. Wow. Uh-oh, that's not good. Alright, so yeah, it always goes down to 20. So okay, that's actually another thing I wanted to mention. So we went from 66 to 60, 58, 59, and I'm recording in OBS, so that takes maybe like 1 or 2 frames per second. But let me just reset my 1% lows here because that got mixed up. And yeah, 60 frames per second on DLAA at the maximum quality preset. And what you guys will see here is if I switch it to quality, you'll see it again actually. Hit apply, and then that actually only brings the frame rate up to about 64 frames per second. So that's really weird. It's as if quality doesn't really do much at all as far as boosting performance. That's not even a 10% bump. So I'm going to, that makes me think that the game's not optimized well, or at least not yet, and they still have to, you know, figure out what to do here, because a 10% bump going from 4K to 1440p rendering should give you way more than just 10% or 9%. So what I'm going to do here is go to balanced, see if that changes anything here. Let's go to balanced, apply, and usually if yes, okay, so now we're getting 75, 76. So from 60 65 to 75, that's more than 10%. So I don't know what's going on here. There's definitely some optimization opportunities that they can make in this game. That sunset looks pretty awesome, especially when you're going underwater. But now if I go to performance, let me see what that does here. Okay, performance, and hit apply. All right, so we were at 75 frames per second before, and now we are at 91 and 90, and the image quality still looks good. I actually don't know exactly which render preset that I'm using. It's probably preset M if this is a recent title. But you can get higher in the frame rates. So once again, this game has no frame gen and no reflex from the looks of it, because I can't get my a PC latency statistic to run. It just sticks to 0. So what I wanted to go over really quickly here, I'm going to put everything back on the DLAA just so we can stick to the baseline. So what you want to do, and as you can see, we're going to go back down to, I think 60 frames per second, 64, 65. Let's just say 65. When you're playing an Unreal Engine 5 game, the first thing you're going to want to do, take global illumination down to high, take shadows down to high. Those are the two biggest resource hogs. So if we do that, it's going to say do a reset, but you don't need to. So we went from 65 to 70 frames per second at 71. So that's 10% performance right there.
Fresh water intake.
Boom. And you basically have no loss in image quality at all. That looks pretty cool right there. So as we continue on here, oh wow, everything is just completely dark. I mean, I guess as it should be. The sun is down. But in any case, that's something you can do to optimize your settings here. I'm gonna drop that because if you eat that, you actually will lose some health. And whoa, something just burped at me. I don't know. Anyways, so that's something you can do to optimize your game. So this is going to be kind of a short video here on what to do in a lot of these Unreal Engine 5 titles. I'll have more footage coming up a little bit later. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got for now. Take care, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. Alright guys, so I just did some extensive testing right here, and I found the setting that is absolutely tanking performance in this game. And allow me to demonstrate. So this is everything where we had it before, 4K, DLSS native, and everything is on Epic. Let me just put reflections back up to Epic. I'm going to hit apply. And we were getting about 70 frames per second before. Yeah, 67 now. Okay, so reflections took a little bit off, but it should dip into 70 if I just let it sit there for a minute. Okay, yep, 68, 60, around there. All right, so reflections takes a little bit. But this setting right here, effects, I don't know what this is doing, but as soon as you put that on back onto Epic, it absolutely tanks your performance. Absolutely tanks it. We're getting down now 60 to 61. Yeah, I'm dehydrated, and even though I'm surrounded by water. So as you can see here, and sometimes this game does not apply your setting that you want. So yeah, see, it did epic again for that. Okay, we hit apply, and as you can see now, it should go down to even 50 something frames per second. Yeah, there you go, 58, 56. If you turn that setting back off, effects, this sucker right here, hit apply. That is going to be your biggest gain in performance. That's over 10% gained just from turning whatever that is off. So if you're a dev watching this, I don't know what that setting is doing, but it's killing the performance. Alright, so now that we optimized our settings here, and that's going to be 4K DLAA with global illuminations and shadows on high, effects on high instead of epic, everything else on epic. And let's go back into our save game here to see what that's going to look like. Alright, so that is looking much better in performance. So now we are getting closer to 70 frames per second here, going a little bit over, which is great. And everything still looks top notch. I don't notice any sort of difference on what that effects setting was doing, so that's great. If I can just get some performance without paying for it in visual quality according to my eyes, that would be great. And so now I'm curious to see what DLSS can do. Or uh-oh, I'm dying here. Let me go get some air before I continue this trek. And I better hurry up before it gets night, because I can't see a thing once that happens. Pick up some metal salvage here.
Locker can be hand carried or attached to a hard point. Avoid workplace friction. Inform your co-workers before moving their stash. Seek medical attention.
This guy sure can scream. Anyways, let's check out DLSS quality. Going into our settings again. We're gonna hit apply. Okay, let's reset the frame rates here. And okay, so that still only gives you about maybe 15% performance. Okay, let's avoid the green stuff here. Yeah, so that only gives you still about 15% performance. User death. Oh god. Anyways, I'm not looking too good here, am I, chaps? So anyway, you're able to get over 100 frames per second in this area here. And I got cooked. And so let's try that again. Okay, so I lost, I guess, whatever I had. Cool. And it's nighttime now. So let's go back out here. Hopefully I can find that thing again. Yeah, so once that sun is down, looks like the frame rate does go up quite a bit. Because it's much less calculation as far as lighting is concerned. So if I go to DLSS balanced, we're gonna do that, hit apply, and the game looks very well. As far as art styles, it looks very good. I can't really tell too much of a difference from scaling down to DLSS balanced, but the frame rate doesn't seem to improve all that much, which is very telling. It's not really a great sign still. So even after we've optimized our settings, we're still not able to gain a whole bunch of performance with upscaling. So in that case, anyways, what we're going to do is check out the DLSS performance, just to see what it's going to look like. Okay, I'm gonna hit apply. And everything still looks pretty decently sharp. Well, I'm in at nighttime, so it's probably not a great judge of that, but again, the FPS did not seem to rise all that much. So yeah, they definitely can still iron out some edges here as far as game optimization in this game. Having to go down to DLSS quality to do what DLSS performance to do what DLSS quality can do in other Unreal Engine 5 titles, it's not really a great look. Alright, so with that said, hope you all gained some value out of this content, and I will see you guys on the next one. Throw me a like and a sub if it is good for you to do so, and peace out.